this statement. I believe men make and men destroy institutions. And this is where FCC, under the able leadership of its rector, Dr. Alma, has taken some very important steps. But the journey is not complete. We have a long way to go in terms of becoming one of the best, if not in the world, in the region, so that both the past generations of FCC and present and future generations will be proud of their alma mater. I have requested the members of the panel to make very brief statements about their feelings and sentiments and their experience at FCC. And once the panel has made its own statements.
In mathematics. It's my privilege to be among you people this morning. I'm also thankful to FCC for giving me an opportunity to share my feelings and experiences. Well, the very first question arises in one's mind is, why did I choose FCC? After doing my intermediate, honestly speaking, I even didn't know that the thing like BSc honors exist in the world. Then a teacher of mine who was a professor of physics here in FCC made me aware of the significance of 4 years degree program, and he especially emphasized on the core values and methodology of teaching that FCC follows. Immediately I decided to be a part of this institution. And thank God, as I have spent more than 3 years, I am happy to say, and I take pride when I say that I am a Formanite. Now, to share the positive aspects of FCC performance in some minutes or hours is next to impossible. But some of the peculiar functions which I realize FCC does, I would like to share with you. One of them is FCC attempts creative minds. For a while, I want to take all of yours attention to the goal
by dragging their feet. But it is also to create a well-rounded personality as well. Now, a well-rounded personality entails being socially responsible and working towards the good of fellow man, having leadership qualities, self-discipline and self-control. And finally, what I personally find to be the most important is having a moral and ethical conscience. This is where curricular activities come in. Curricular activities not only inculcate these qualities, but they also give an outlet to the youth's boundless energy. In light of this, FC College has always been a strong advocate of curricular activities. At the moment, FC College has a total of 30 societies and an assortment of sports activities which cater to the various interests of the students. The three most predominant and worth mentioning at the moment are the Dramatic Society, the debates, and of course the music. The Dramatic Society produces at least 2 major plays every year. The plays are usually original pieces written by either the member of the faculty or the student body. The testament to the proficiency can be found from the fact that they were very recently called to participate in the Drama Festival, which is a very auspicious event. The Musical Society has also played a major part in the development of the student body. This society has not only provided the student body with entertainment over the years, but has also helped discover musical talent that has proceeded to become tomorrow's superstars. Finally, we have the Debate Society, the pearl of our curricular activities. It has been the testament to the talent and potential that FC College has to offer. The Debate Society, between the short duration of 2003 to 2008, has managed a total of 50 team trophies and more than 100 individual prizes. They have secured victories in places like Military College Jhelum, University of Peshawar, Pakistan Air Force Academy, and various other military and civilian institutes. The more recent and impressive victory was that in the Fcc Alumni Debate, where they prevailed over 109 other teams. Their achievements are what have driven them to become one of the top teams in this country. All this is only the tip of the iceberg. The future holds much more. In order to get there, however, there are a few places where we believe there is still room for improvement. Sports is one such area. The example of Rana Ashraf and Mohammad Yusuf show us that FC College has a lot to offer in the field of sports. Community work is a field that also leaves something to be desired. Even though the tremendous response to the relief activities during the 2005 earthquake show us that the student body does not lack in the spirit to lend a hand towards their fellow man. In conclusion, I would like to point out one last benefit of co-curricular activities. It is what has driven all of you to come here today, and it is what will drive many more to come here in the future. I talk, of course, about memories. The cricket or hockey match that you won, or the speech competition in which you stole the show, are those memories that I am sure you hold dear to yourself and value as priceless. If all goes according to plan, FC College will not only hold on to the torch that you left behind, but it will hold it higher and it will burn it brighter, so that FC College is known throughout the world as it is the greatest institute in the world.
Students and teachers where they can spend their free time. The progress and development at FC has been rapid, and it demonstrates that FC's administration is determined to keep pace with today's changing and constantly advancing
Hinduism and Islam. And this is a very diverse culture that we get at FC College. Similarly, we have students from North and from Southern Punjab as well. From Gilgit especially, I want to say, far away from, you can say, on the north. And this is a very good cultural mix here. We have students from urban setup and rural setup. We have students from different social economic backgrounds that adds to its diversity. And last but not the least, we have uniform. That gives us uniformity, that gives us equality, and that is unity among diversity. In that, I want to say that it's a long way to go, but together we have to make this a living culture for our future generation. When I speak personally about myself, I have learned from FC College the courage, the confidence, and the energy to serve our nation. And then we have learned to buy love, serve one another. And that's what I must say. Thank you.
Member at FCC. Well, when we think of teacher, we think of as an individual who produces good results. But here at FC, we have a different criteria for evaluating teachers. First of all, obviously their effectiveness as a teacher, which does not necessarily mean, or it's not only restricted to producing good results. It involves producing students who can think creatively, critically, and independently. Then we intend to groom our students to be active learners rather than rote learning. That is to say, we involve them in a lot of activities in the class. That is to say, we are not only involving them in being passive audience in the classroom. We emphasize on techniques like discussions, presentations, role playing, writing papers, making assignments, doing class projects, etc., etc. So that is what I have learned to develop as a teacher. And then obviously I am involved in other activities as well on campus. That has been a wonderful experience. I am a faculty advisor for baccalaureate students. That is to say, I counsel them with...
About the FC experience has been very nicely covered by the students and Mr. Riffat Zaheer as well. I'll just very briefly talk about the important elements of my experience since I joined FC a few years ago. And then I would actually just like all of us to just reflect on what is the meaning of this experience that we are having, going back to the very idea of the university. Because as FC College moves towards a future, having successfully made the transition from a nationalized institution, I think that big picture issue is extremely important, and I think we should not lose sight of what makes a great university, what makes a great university experience for a student. Quickly, first talking about what I have experienced here. On the whole, it has been a very pleasant, very positive experience. There have been challenges primarily about adapting the semester system to our local Pakistani culture, environment, etc. And there are challenges and they're still going on. Teacher obviously assumes the center stage in this system, Teacher is the one who prepares the course outline, he's the one who delivers it, he's the one who assesses the students and everything. So that's just a pretty massive responsibility compared to what the teacher used to have. And I think we have to constantly be vigilant about our own weaknesses as teachers, and to go on fine-tuning the process of providing students with a transparent system with integrity that is visible to all, both all the stakeholders here. And I think we are making a very good transition on that score. The other things that I can say very frankly, because we are a family here, alumni as well as, is that at the end of the day, the quality of the students and the quality of the faculty will determine whether we are going to last and prosper as a leading institution on the subcontinent at least. And I think that we really need to have a very honest look at ourselves. Are we really growing in that direction? And not really compromising too much. The excellence has to be there in the center of things. That's the way, that's the only way good people are going to be trained and attracted to this institution. But I mean, these are all issues that myself as a member of the faculty has been thinking about. But really now I'll come to the thing that's more kind of close to my heart here. What is the meaning of this experience? What is the idea of the university all about? What's all this fuss about? And partly I'm saying it because currently I'm teaching a course in which I'm actually reflecting along with my students on Plato's Republic, the book which is at the very foundation of both the Western tradition and the Islamic tradition of critical thought as well. Plato was considered Plato the divine, Aflatun Ilahiyya, even by Al-Farabi and Ibn Sina. So let's not say that Plato is an alien. And what intrigues me is that some of the issues that we are exploring in the class are incredibly relevant. The same issues that Plato was grappling with thousands of years ago. What is the meaning of life, for example? Why do we get educated in the first place? And he gives you quite beautiful answers, very convincing in some way. That he says education is not a punishment. It is, the very idea of education is embedded in one's soul. Our souls will never be happy unless they get hold of the truth. They are only at home in truth. And it is a labor of love. The idea of education and punishment and discipline is very alien to the kind of thinking I'm talking about. They were communities of love. If you talk about Plato's Academy, the first great institution that is known mainly in the Western tradition, but also, I guess, universally, people who came there were not compelled. They were there for the love of learning and following Socrates' maxim of knowing thyself. You would not be considered a civilized individual unless you know yourself. To know yourself, you also need to know the universe. So they are kind of dialectical. Knowing yourself reveals the universe and vice versa. And that was the love of what is crucial to your soul, what gives meaning to your life. That's what brought those communities together. And if you look at the great medieval universities of Europe, many of them started without any campuses. They were again communities of love. Love for learning, love for caring for the soul, care of the soul, looking for truth. They were really the things that were driving those people together. And they started off being these communities where people who loved to learn were with people who loved to teach. And they then blossomed into Oxfords and Sorbonnes and Heidelbergs and so on. So I think that's the thing that we need to keep in mind, that while we are making a transition in terms of putting up great buildings and beautiful facilities, which are also very important, but the basic purpose of why we are here is really something that we should dwell a little bit more deeply on. That what sort of future do we envisage, and what sort of connection do we envisage between this community of the soul that we call FC and the larger community? Because according to Plato, the educational institutions are really where the souls of the nation are cleansed, where the leaders of the future are going to be formed. So this is going to be that experience, ideally. I know ideals will never be completely translated into practice, and we have to obviously grapple with all the challenges that this environment gives us. the very security becomes an issue. And how do you still think coherently in a civilized way in spite of the bombs blowing all around us? I think that is the challenge that we are facing, that when the students come here, somehow we provide the student an atmosphere that in spite of all the other hazards and all the other things preoccupying that person, we should be able to lift him up so that he can still explore his soul and our souls as teacher and test us and be tested. And I think that's something that we need to remember. Thank you.